All their med balls are really light. Did you catch it on film? Oh yeah. There's the intro to the video.
What's up? So kind of a little rundown on training evolved last week. Probably going to break this up into two parts since it's like 30 minutes of footage. Had some guys from out of town from working against gravity. Some Canadian dudes came down, trained with me, and spent a couple days. It was a good time showing those dudes around. Got a chance to go train Northwestern here in Louisiana, as well as up at LSU with Tommy Moffitt and his crew. So really great getting a chance to play around in some other gyms, show them around. Reminds me I need to get out of the garage occasionally. So enjoy the commentary leading up to last week's competition. And did some throwing, didn't record a whole lot of it, but there's plenty of training footage, and I will commentate on the whys I do what's I do. So check it out. Check those guys out, workingagainstgravity.com for performance and nutrition. And tell those dudes, check them out on Instagram and tell them I sent you. Cheers. So like I said, here's the commentary. Buckle in, it's going to be a long video. I think about 25 minutes. But this is kind of everything I did last week, and I had some training partners, so I highlighted some of their stuff too. So this is early in the week, just trying to get some mobility back in after finishing up a competition and traveling back home from Portland for the weekend. So a little bit beat up feeling, but that's pretty normal this time of the season. And the weights right now are going to stay pretty light. Really just kind of keep things moving. So you can kind of see a little bit of mobility work I did here before getting into my squats. Sticking with the box at this point in the season. It feels about like the right height. I'm just doing some touch and goes, and pretty happy with how I feel. It doesn't bother my hip. My feet are staying pretty narrow. The knees are going the right direction, and I'm just moving the weight as quickly as I can. I think I do some sets of either 3 or 5, if I remember correctly. But like I said, it's just about moving the weight and staying explosive at this point in the season, staying as healthy as I can. I compete a hell of a lot better healthy than I do hurt, and so that's one of the big goals. Always remember what it is you're actually training for. That's a mistake I see a lot of people make, and you end up pushing too hard in the gym because you love your gym time, and you take away a little bit from the sport you're actually giving a shit about. And I mean, that can go for the same for powerlifting, or it can go the same for weightlifting as it does throwing. Remember why you're doing it, and sometimes backing off a little bit so that you can be better on the platform when it counts, or on the field when it counts, is going to be the key. Same for guys, getting into track. Track's going to be, a little bit different monster, but training for it versus the Highland Games is just about exactly the same. So that's where I built my program based on, was building, what I was hoping to be a little bit stronger, more powerlifting-based throwers program. Still doing some Olympic lifts, and you can see here I'm still moving pretty quick. I was pretty happy with how things felt. And then I eventually worked up to, I guess this is 5 1/4-ish. And then I took it again for my second set. I think I ended up doing 3 sets here at the max weight. So this week of training will be a little bit more of a deload. I tore a pretty decent sized callus off my hand, and I have another competition this weekend in Detroit. Last weekend in Enumclaw, Washington for the North American Championships went pretty well. So time to back off a little bit and heal up. So I filmed another here. This was a big drop set. I did that last set of 505 and then decided to record the rest of the entire thing and put a little speed to it so you can kind of see. This is just a finisher to kind of exhaust the legs a little bit. So 425, I guess, down a plate, hitting some reps, and then down another plate, and so forth. Just trying to stay under the bar and get some time as it's going. Feeling pretty good, especially being that I got my shirt and my shoes match. I'm looking pretty fresh. Check out, you can pick up that shirt, is one of the new ones at thehate.com. Pretty happy with it. A little bit different style than what we've been doing. It also comes in a mint women's muscle tank, which is pretty sharp for any of the ladies out there watching this stuff. And then down to the last set here with the lighter weight. Legs were pretty tired. Just kind of banging it out, getting some reps, get some blood flow into the legs. After that, staying explosive with a meet at the end of the week. Legs are kind of trashed after those squats, but making sure I'm jumping here and keeping moving. Bounding is going to be a pretty big, important part, I believe, of any explosive training and performance workout. There's no way that you can jump slowly. So think about that as you're training and what your goals are. And as far as a performance-based athlete, like throwers or football players or anything like that, jumping is going to be pretty important. So once the working against gravity guys, Hayden and Sesko, got in, we talked about doing some fun southern stuff, and so I took them to go shoot some guns. I brought a little bit of my toys out, and we went to the range and pow-powed a little bit. It's fun showing those guys a couple things. Not very familiar with guns and or comfortable around them, so it was fun to take them out and let them blast away at some paper. You can, for those of you not into guns or this and that, they're pretty fun. And neither of these guys are, this is not their forte, and they have not spent a heck of a lot of time shooting, but it was fun to go throw some rounds downrange. If you're not into shooting, I don't know, fast forward the next couple things. But there's more to do than just sit around and train. It's hang out and get to learn a little bit about the people that you're around. The people you're getting to spend some time with, and also train too. I mean, there's more to life than just doing the fake work we do in the gym. And the sets and rep are pretty simple. It's amazing. I spent a week with these guys, and we very rarely actually spoke about the sets and reps of training, because it doesn't matter. We have a pretty good base of what we're doing and what we want to do. And those guys, real knowledge comes into nutrition for performance. They're flexible dieting coaches. My wife has had some success with them, and I'm looking forward to doing some work with them this off season. Hopefully, cleaning some things up and seeing if I can make a couple more changes. As you can see here, another kind of a new weight room I've never gotten a chance to go train at, but Northwestern State University invited us over to come in and play. This is about 3 hours from my house. So we made the trek up there and got to go do some lifting with their strength staff. I guess they're followers of the Drift to Lifta, and wanted to play around. Coach Mike Heineman, thanks for having us. Mike was the throws coach at Northwestern when I got recruited out of high school, and we've stayed in touch since, and now he's actually the head track coach there, so he's been there for quite a while. So getting to work with their crew there was a lot of fun. They're doing some really good stuff with athletes, and working with athletes smart. Staying attentive to what needs to be done so that athletes and performance continues to increase, not just the numbers in the gym. I did some snatch complex here to kind of start the day. It's really just a full snatch and then one from the hip. Power on both. Hayden is actually doing a little complex and then works up to some singles, and I think managed a PR. So I'll take credit for his PR since he was hanging around me. Did basically nothing to earn it. You can see, pretty impressive, really strong guy for someone who's sitting around 100 pounds under body weight from me, and definitely out snatching me for the day. So that's always good to be pushed and be reminded that very rarely are you the best guy in the room, and go train with people like that are going to make you better and expect you to be better. And this is Francesco doing some bench work, and again, another guy giving up just about 100 pounds of body weight to me, and just a strong guy. And these benches were kind of tricky. These collegiate benches, a little bit lower than, say, competition height for a regular bench, so really put the hips in kind of a weird position to drive from, but he still managed some pretty sweet lifting, and I think possibly a PR. But both of them, I believe, managed PRs while on the trip. Hayden here, a little bit of a press out, but still manages a 318 or so snatch, which is pretty amazing for the body weight that guy's at, and being on the road as long as they have been. They've been cruising around the country and seeing gyms and touring and meeting coaches for about the last 3 months. And so I know how hard training and traveling is, and so it was really impressive to see those guys get after it. After my snatches, I worked up and did some cleans. And by work up, I mean I think I just threw 140 on the bar to hit some triples. just stay moving pretty quick. This isn't a a hard clean for me. I also don't need to max out. It's just kind of getting the body firing a different way, and I haven't cleaned in a while, so they felt pretty sloppy. But great weight room here, and their strength coaches are. What are you doing clean-wise today?
Just heavy single.
Just hit a single?
Yeah. Triples, doubles, singles.
Word. How about you? You bodybuilding today?
Doing some bodybuilding, some accessory work. Trying to really just bring up everything to support everything else. Power building, really.
And Daniel?
Yeah, I'll just be doing some triples and doubles and singles.
For behind the neck press? Behind the neck jerks?
Yep.
I'm going to hang out with Daniel and do those, except I'm going to do behind the neck push press. Hayden's working on some cleans today, as you heard them talk about. Then I believe he's going to do some behind the neck stuff. Daniel Klein and I, check him out at Reputations on Decline on the Instagram. Great young lifter, 19 or 18, I guess, in the 69 kilo class, and really moving a lot of weight around for a young kid. Working with Matt Bruce at Red Stick Barbell, as well as the Brute Strength guys, Mike Casu and Matt Bruce, and some other guys. So check those guys out too at Brute Strength on Instagram. I'm doing some behind the neck stuff. Just trying to get the shoulders moving. Last couple days before actually cutting out of town to go compete. We did throw after the session at Northwestern. I just didn't happen to record any of it. The lighting was low and really felt like throwing more than I felt like fucking with the camera. So got a couple throws in and had a good time. Took the Canadians out to do some throwing with me, and they got a little insight on how all that feels. And super easy sport, super easy to learn really fast, they said. So I expect to see them on the field any minute now. You can see Daniel Klein, really explosive, really fast athlete. I think he's got quite a future ahead of him in some weightlifting stuff. And as long as he stays healthy and keeps doing the things he's doing, working with Matt, he's going to be just fine. Matt's a real knowledgeable coach, 7-time world team member there in Red Stick, and has been a valuable resource for me as well in training. If you were in Baton Rouge area, that is the place I would go training. Red Stick CrossFit is fantastic. Great group of coaches there, great equipment, and probably the best, Olympic lifting options in the area that I would get in to go actually learn from someone. You see Daniel here now getting a little bit more weight on the bar at 275-ish, 120 kilos, I think. Hayden here doing his cleans as well. A little struggle. After spending so much time in the truck that morning. I think we finished our 3.5-hour drive back, I believe. Or no, closer to 5, sorry. And getting the body moving, but these guys are used to that now after being on the road for the last 3 months. They're kind of old hat at traveling and still getting it done in not the best of conditions. Rocking my one knee sleeve here. Just, staying fresh. That's kind of the idea. People keep asking, where are these shorts from? These are from Skins, and they are fantastic. There's a lot of stretch to them, and they're short enough to show off your sweet quads and those hamstrings, but there's really no but about it. They're great shorts. Check them out at skins.net or skins.com, Skins USA on Instagram. Daniel here at 140 kilos for a guy that weighs just about nothing is pretty amazing. Big difference than me doing it. Little miss there. He said he felt like his jerk was a little off that day for whatever reason. The timing just wasn't quite lining up, but he still manages to work up to over 150 kilos later in the workout, which is just where I stopped as well on my push presses. So Hayden here getting to about 140. The little black training plates are 10 pounds, or 10 pounds total, so give you an idea of what we got. Francesco is cruising around the garage doing bodybuilding stuff. It's a pull day for him, so I think I have some of the stuff he does, but not 100% sure. This is one of my heavier sets. I think I did a couple sets here, and then I banged out some singles at this weight to just stay moving fast after kind of grinded that one out. That's about as slow as I like to move. So you can see Cisco here doing some single arm rows or croc rows with my big 106-pound kettlebell. Back to Olympic lifting because bodybuilding is terribly boring, especially in my garage. But I say that because I'm fat and it's not my cup of tea. It will be one day. One day I will be jacked and shredded. But for the meantime, I want to throw far. I want to perform as an athlete. So that is what my main focus would be. Daniel here at 150 kilos. Pretty impressive behind the neck jerks. Kid's really explosive, really fast. See, that was a training make and a little bit of a miss. Like I said, his dip and drive said it just felt, timing off a hair. When you're an explosive athlete and if you're not used to weightlifting, they're not really grind lifts. They're either going to really be makes or they're not going to be makes. And so moving fast and hitting that speed is, pretty imperative. Similar to throwing or, doing anything athletically. Things have got to line up and things have got to fire in the right order. Sesko's there just talking about it being a pool day. Nothing terribly informative. Really smart guys. Glad I got to spend the week with those dudes. They do live and breathe what they preach with the diet stuff, and that's it was pretty impressive to see them on the road work as hard as they do. For anyone out there who doesn't think your online coaches or people putting a lot of information out there aren't working really hard, you are absolutely crazy. For the entire time that I basically had these guys around, if they weren't training, they were on their computer answering emails. It's really, really impressive to see guys that committed and doing what they do and doing what they love. That's you want to be around a lot of guys like that. One of the things I know working with Gravity does really well is a guaranteed 24-hour response to any email or question sent. And those guys hammer those out. Pretty impressive to watch those guys always be on top of it and never fall behind. But that's one of the joys of working 80 hours by yourself is you don't have to work for 40 hours a week for someone else. So there's a little miss at a heavier weight, a little toss to your ass. It happens. And I wanted to put in a lot of, my training this week, or really no misses really happened just because I'm not training very heavy. I'm not training toward my max. And so Hayden is pushing the weights a little bit this week. He's been out of weightlifting for a couple weeks due to a little bit of a back injury. But this is the first week back. This is my last set of pull-ups. Been doing these between the push press set, and you can see Francesco here banging out biceps in the garage, and I had to give him some shit for it. You're going to see here Hayden do quite a number of misses in about the 180 kilo range for his push jerk. It's pretty impressive. Again, it's always humbling to see guys at this strength level and that body weight. Reminds me again that I'm actually not very strong and I've got a lot of work to do, and I can be faster, I can be more explosive, and I can be stronger. That the weight doesn't always have to be a crutch. There are some weight issues that do come with being a thrower, because your leverage has changed so much with any weight loss or weight gain and spinning a bunch and trying to apply speed. So he takes a shot at a big lift here and just about out of gas, but it was worth a shot. It was a big jump. Last day of training for the week, we made our way over to LSU, and I got a chance to talk with their strength coaches as well. So it was a really, really cool week. Got to do some different stuff, lift in some different places. This was the day before I left for Washington, and I'll have that video and all my competition up with its commentary later this week. So give you an idea of what my deadlift day looked like before I got out of town. I ended up pulling some triples or doubles, I believe. I'll check once we get there. Doubles, it seems, up to a decent load. Pretty happy with how things have felt here. Bar's moving pretty good. And then decided to go ahead and work up and pull a single. Seska here is a much slower puller, but again, you know, he's 100 pounds lighter than me, and he can grind some weights out. And that's what he wanted to do that day, is shoot for a couple PRs, and man, good on him. This was a big jump in weight for him. We went just basically added 50 kilos, and so I don't think he was quite ready to make that big of a jump. I make those big of jumps because I'm lazy, and just want to get to the next set and get to pulling, get to that top end to start doing my work. See Hayden here actually doing some bench, and you know, no ways about it. That's a strong guy. That's what, 100 and a lot. 150, 170 kilo bench for weighing 185 pounds. Pretty amazing. I'd be real surprised if I'd be able to hit that. But really happy with bar speed overall with my deadlifts. Hit a couple singles with that weight. Forgot my belt and played around with a tiny belt they had at the LSU weight room. Ended up not really getting much out of it. It didn't fit very good. Mostly got encompassed in my fat. You can see this is quite the grinder, and pretty impressive to see a guy stick to it and really get this lift. You know, not quite have it there, and then you know, this is, you know, someone you can tell who spent a lot of time around the bar and powerlifting is just waiting to find that leverage point to go for it. And this is a, you know, an all-time PR, I believe, for him as a single. And really, really great to see guys get pumped and pull PRs. And so got me excited. So I worked up to about 620 here. And beltless, this is definitely a PR. So kind of got my head together, got in, and went for the pull. I don't really dilly-daddle much. Once I get my breath and lock everything in, I just kind of grip and go. Got stuck on the legs, but oh well, pretty happy with it. And so from there, went and did some explosive stuff while the legs are a little tired. Remind the body that we're going to move fast this weekend. So these are just some basket tosses. I did a couple of these. I've been doing these throughout the season with a med ball. This is about a 16 pound. I would rather use about a 25 pound, but LSU's facility did not have one. And it was pretty fun to go into their indoor facility there with all that room and toss some stuff around. On top of that, did some hurdle mobility between my med ball sets. So about 5 sets of each. And then had the Canadian guys get in there and also do some med balls with me, and you know, just for a change of pace and show them some throwers training that they could maybe implement to the stuff they're doing. Hurdle mobility is a great way to start your stuff. If you're an athlete and you have access to hurdles, please do these. They're great. I wish I had more of them to do, and I wish I had the time to go to the track to actually do them, but I don't, so I'm not. And I always, anytime I see them, I basically take off and make sure I hit them. And my hips always feel better afterwards. So you can see I kind of go over straight ahead. You can do some walking backwards. There's really no way to do it wrong. You can set them up alternating, so you go over and under. But I need to go and film a full hurdle mobility routine. You can see my legs are a little trashed, and so I'm not quite as peppy or as on point as I'd like to be. But things are moving pretty good. Just kicking the feet over each one and establishing some rhythm. And that's hurdle mobility, and then showing the guys here doing some throwing with the working against gravity fellas. So just some basket tosses. You're basically going to catch the ball on the squat and throw it as high as you can. You're going to leave the ground and generate some power. So they're going to go ahead and do it as well. You know, you think for an Olympic lifter or a thrower, you know, it's about applying force pretty quickly, and I think this is a great drill just to remind the body to work pretty fast. You know, it's a really sub-maximal weight. It's something like 14 or 16 pounds, but you can keep, you know, working hard to throw it as high or as far as you can either way. That's really how we rounded out our training for the week, and these guys took off and headed back to Toronto. It was really, really great to have them around. And was a lot of fun. stoked to have them and, learn from them and look forward to working with them in the future. Again, check those guys out at workingagainstgravity.com. It's Hayden here, Francesco, and as well as their Olympic lifter and other partner, Adi Zucker. And they are a talented lot. And the nutritional coaching stuff, flexible dieting. You can see Francesco here is a little stiffer and not quite the Olympic lifter, but thanks for checking it out and keep training.